Good morning, everyone. Welcome again to another chapter in our Minoxavent webinar series. My name's Brian Phipps. I'm one of the engineers here at Minoxavent, and today I'm joined by Product Manager Jake McVeigh. He's been with Minoxavent for 2 years, provides frontline support for sales representatives and end users. If you guys have any questions about source capture products, or you need help with quoting something, or especially extranet issues, he's pretty well our specialist on the extranet here as well. He's a good guy, and he'll be sure to make time to help you out. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. In the lower left corner of your screen, you'll see a little chat box. We encourage you to type in any questions or comments or anything you have anytime during the presentation, and we'll do our best to get them answered. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn the presentation over to Jake.
Thanks, Brian. And thank you for attending Minoxavent's latest webinar on source capture hose. I appreciate you taking the time from your busy schedule to join us today. Proper hose selection is one of 3 important steps when designing a source capture project. Here are some things to keep in mind when selecting a hose. First off is, what is the application? For example, if the hose is an underground vehicle exhaust, you will likely want to use no crush hose so that you are protected if the vehicle were to run over the hose. Next is, what is the makeup of the fumes you are capturing? If there is an abrasive material, you might require a stainless steel inner wall to prevent holes in the hose. Next is, what is the exhaust temperature? Minoxavent has hose that is rated from 350 degrees to 2010 degrees. It is important to keep that in mind and to ask the end user this question when designing a system. Here is an overview of Minoxavent's typical hose offerings. Our Series 1000 and 2000 is a metal interlocking hose that is available in either galvanized or stainless steel. Our Series 3000 is a no crush hose and is typically used on underfloor applications. Series 4000 is a high temperature vehicle exhaust hose, very commonly used for diesel vehicles under idle or low RPMs. Series 5000 is a medium temperature hose used for cars and light trucks, also can be used for welding and dust collection. Series 6000 hose is a welding fume source capture hose. And our Series 7000 is a family of hoses that ranges from 350 degrees to 2010 degrees. It's a clip product with an external wear strip. First, I'll start with our Series 1000 and 2000 series hose. Our 1000 series hose is constructed from stainless steel and is rated to 1800 degrees. And our Series 2000 is a galvanized carbon steel hose rated to 500 degrees. This hose is not like a fabric hose in that it does not have a tight bending radius. And this hose has been in the industry since the beginning and is not as common now that hose reels and balancer drops are more commonly used. Typical uses would be for underfloor applications because the hose can slide in and out of the outlet easily. Next up, our Series 3000 is what we call a no crush hose. This hose has no metal helix in the hose and utilizes deep convolutions to retain its shape. The hose is rated to 600 degrees continuous and is available in diameters up to 6 inch. The upside to this hose is if vehicles were to drive over it, it'll flatten out and then bounce back, unlike a fabric or metal hose. If you were to drive over that hose would then have to be replaced. The downside would be that it's heavy in weight, so it is not suitable for a cable balancer, and when placed on a hose reel, it is susceptible to collapsing when under negative pressure. Typical use would be underfloor application or with a Y-kit adapter used on vehicles with dual exhaust. Here we show the hose used in an underfloor application. Next up, we have our Series 4000 hose. This is one of our most common hoses. It is a double-ply silicone Nomex hose that has a spring steel wire embedded between the layers. It is rated to 600 degrees continuous and up to 1250 degrees intermittently. This hose has been tested and rated to 1000 degrees by the military. This was a test that was a 72-hour test performed on the inside of the hose without using a fan. This hose is available in 3-inch up to 12-inch diameter. Here you can see the 4000 series hose in the field. Without an external wear strip, you want to be sure that this hose is stored up off the floor. This hose is commonly seen in implement dealers, diesel trucks, or bus facilities. Next up, we have our Series 5000 hose. It is rated to 350 degrees continuous and 550 degrees intermittently. The makeup of this hose is a high-quality rubber impregnated polyester with a fully enclosed helix. With having the helix, this hose is abrasion resistant and the hose is protected when being drug across the floor or over items. This is typically used in automobile dealerships for cars and light-duty trucks, also commonly used in welding and dust collection systems. Here we show the Series 5000 hose used in an auto service shop with a cable balancer supporting a hose to keep it up off the floor.
All right, Jacob, let me go ahead and interrupt you quick. We've had a question come in already regarding the 3000 series hose. Would you say that hose has a high pressure drop associated with it, or would you say it has a low pressure drop?
Our Series 3000 hose actually has a high pressure drop. I guess as example, our 4-inch hose has about 0.38 inches per foot. So we try to keep this kind of in shorter lengths, maybe up to 11 feet is our standard length. So with that, you have anywhere between 4 and 5 inches of static pressure per hose. Our Series 6000 hose is a welding source capture hose. This hose is flame retardant, vinyl coated with a polyester embedded steel wired helix. With a smooth inner surface, it creates less turbulence for higher CFM delivery. This hose is lightweight and works well on 15,000 series fume arms. Here is a portable unit shown in the field with Series 6000 hose utilized on the fume arm. Okay, over the next few slides, we'll be talking about our Series 7000 hose. This hose is what we call the family of hoses, where the temperatures are rated from anywhere between 350 to 2010 degrees. This hose is manufactured using strips of material that are crimped inside a metal helix. The metal helix not only holds the hose together, but it also provides abrasion resistance. Here is a data sheet for our 7350 series hose. It's a 350 degrees hose, and this particular model has just a single layer of material. Next up is our 7570. This hose is like the 350 hose in that it's just a single layer material, but this hose, the material is rated to 570 degrees continuous. You can also, with this model, it has the capability of having a plastic coating applied to the outside of the metal helix. This plastic coating will prevent vehicles from being scratched in the workplace. Here we show our Series 7850. This as well as a single layer of silicone glass fabric and is either available in galvanized or with a stainless steel helix rated to 850 degrees. Now we have our Series 7100 hose. This is where we get into actually using a double wall material crimped inside of that helix. So this particular hose is rated to 1000 degrees. Next up, climbing up the ladder, we have our Series 7120. This product we see a lot of. This hose is commonly used for diesel applications that are running under load or under higher RPMs. This hose works well for both hose reels and simple drops. Next we have our Series 7150 hose. This as well is a 2 layers of material and is rated to 1500 degrees. Now we have our highest rated hose for Minoxidant. Our Series 7210 hose is actually a 3-layer construction, and the innermost layer has a fine layer of stainless steel material. So this hose can not only take some heat, but it will also provide abrasion resistance for any particulate traveling through the airstream. This hose is typically used for diesel vehicles that are going to be going into regeneration. Our Series 7210 hose is extremely expensive, and for one way for us to overcome this obstacle would be to use a combination hose where we piece two different materials together. A properly designed system will induce ambient air into the hose mixing with the exhaust air. The exhaust temp will drop significantly after the first 5 to 10 feet of hose. Since the Series 7000 hoses are similarly constructed, we can run 2 materials side by side, blending a higher temperature and more expensive hose with a lower temperature and more reasonably priced hose. We typically see applications where we'll have first 5 feet, we'll have our Series 7210 hose, and then after that, we'll use our Series 7120 hose.
All right, Jake, one more question for you, please, before we get too far away from the 7000 series hose. We've had someone ask, could we use the 7210 hose for dyno applications?
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, we see our 7210 hose used often in dyno applications. It works well for those systems because of just that higher temperature is created from higher RPMs and running the vehicle under the load. Here we show our Series 7120 hose in a field application. This is at Fort Lee, where we utilize our XL hose reels. At this particular service bay, they were actually training soldiers out in the field to do maintenance on a variety of different military vehicles. So they needed a hose that was rated for 1200 degrees on, tanks or trucks along those lines, and then also suitable for smaller vehicles as well. Here is a Minoxidant design worksheet. All this information can be found on our website under technical and then downloads. I invite you all to visit our website. Our design worksheet is important for when you're designing out a system and helping you guys out with that, and make sure that it helps us make sure that we get use size for the proper hose and the proper CFM and system for your service shop. This is just some more information on the design worksheet. Here are our exhaust requirements that we've came up with. Again, this is all on our website. I invite you to take a look at it. You'll see that smaller cubic inch engines at lower RPM require a lot less CFM than the larger cubic inch engines running under load or full load. Our exhaust design calculation sheet also is on our website. This is something that we use a lot every day to be able to compute out the correct CFM that would be required for your application. Here is our sheet that we use for determining the correct length of hose for your application. Basically, we use just the triangulation formula where it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And again, our website, minoxavent.com, recently been updated, and a lot of useful information and a lot of technical data there for you available.
All right, thank you very much, Jacob, and a warm thank you to all of our attendees today. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to spend time with us every month and have a brief overview on a lot of our products. This webinar, along with all our previous webinars, can be found on our Minoxavent YouTube channel. They're also linked off of our website. If you go to www.minoxavent.com, click on the Media Center tab, and then click Webinars, you'll be able to find recordings of all these if you ever want to go back to them, show them to new employees or customers or anything like that. If you had any questions in today's webinar that we weren't able to get to, or you've just thought of something now or something later sparks your interest, feel free to give Jake, myself, Marty, Eric, any one of our staff, really, feel free to give us a call anytime. We're more than happy to help you out, not just with the standard catalog items, but also with completely custom applications as well. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great weekend.